Hey y'all.
Hey.
It's the Hawkins Sisters.
How y'all doing?
All right, so we have launched the Real 15. Have y'all checked us out? What y'all thinking about it?
Y'all check it out.
All right. So, here we are back again with another episode. What's our topic going to be for today?
We're going to talk about mourning.
Okay.
Or grief.
Okay.
But one and the same, actually. We're going to talk about those two things. We're going to talk about mourning people, places, and things.
I'm glad that you said that, because when people think about grief, they are lost. Let's talk about loss. You only think of like a person, but you don't think about a job is a loss.
Yeah.
A divorce is loss. No one has to die to suffer loss, and people think one has to die to suffer a loss or in the mourn. I'm mourning a friendship, the death of a friendship.
I would say, and I would say that there are several processes for me, mourning things that I thought should be one way, and they are not that way. My expectations. Mourning how I wanted things to be, how I pictured things to be again. So I would say mourning my expectations, mourning even some of the career goals that I had.
That's a big one, because they change so often. Like, what did you start out as?
Oh, I started out as a cashier. Then I went to being a LPN, licensed practical nurse. I did that for years. Years. Worked in nursing homes, worked in, y'all, I'm sweating out here. But I worked in nursing homes and worked at a call center, reviewing medical records. Then I went to school. I went to school to be a medical transcriptionist.
I remember that too.
I didn't do
not one day
nothing.
But that's what I did with the LPN. I went to school to be a whole LPN, following in my sister's footsteps, and I ain't worked a day as a nurse and got a whole LPN in the house, everything. It's real cute, but I've never used it. We talked about that on the settling. I think I discussed that on the settling episode. Check that out if you didn't check it. But
I think that, though, even though I think this will be another episode, but I really feel like that trained me for hearing people, because medical transcription, you have to hear what the doctor is saying, and then you have to type it up on a report. And I think that it taught me how to hear, because that was one of the things that my teacher, instructor, commented all the time, or complimented me about. So I feel like I did that for that reason. So nothing is wasted. We are going to discuss that. Right. I believe that. So medical transcription. Then I was in school, got my bachelor's degree in psychology. Couldn't do nothing with that. Then I ended up what was I doing at that point? Oh, case management. I did case management, and I worked for a company that dealt with like fostering children and things like that. That right there opened up something for me too, which we'll talk about that in another episode. We'll be talking about how you foster other people, even if you're not fostering children, like how you foster people and you take them in and you give them something and then you move them along.
So when you say the word foster, you mean in what context? Say that again.
Fostering, meaning that you're taking somebody in, you are taking them under your wing, you are providing some kind of sustenance for them. It's always more than likely representing a partnership of some kind, or an agreement, or an assignment. Okay. So it's a fostering, and it's you pouring into that person, and then next thing you know, they're on their way. Okay. So I did that. Then I did. That's when I started school for my master's degree. So while I was doing my master's degree, I was still working as a nurse, and then now I work as a therapist. So yeah, but my career goals, to be perfectly honest with y'all, I really wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a gynecologist.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
It's crazy because ironically, I didn't work as a nurse, but I wanted to be a prison nurse. Right? And then I ended up in corrections, not as a nurse, but as a case manager. I started as an officer, but then as a case manager. So I still kind of aligned with what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But it just didn't align in the way I saw it, right?
Yes.
So sometimes it's lining up, right? It could be lining up, but it's just not lining up in the steps you thought that you were going to take.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because that helps the segue. Because when you are thinking that things are they look a certain way, you wanted them to look a certain way, what happens is you have that grief that comes on you. And then you start to feel like this isn't what you saw, or this isn't what you planned, and then you go on with life, and then you can see how those things line up. But that grieving process, nevertheless, I think still should be applied to your life. I feel like people should go ahead and grieve what they thought life should be.
Okay.
There's people who are in their, like, you know, older in life, and they thought that, or they wanted to see themselves, or they felt like they should be further along. And I feel like a lot of y'all feel that way. Like, you feel like you should be further along in life, but I want to encourage you that you are right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And you know what? I think you're going to always feel that way. Because we always going to want more.
Yeah.
We're going to see more, and then we're going to want more, and then we might feel stuck sometimes. But you are on the right track. You just don't see it yet because it's not in your steps.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't your plan. And it's okay. It may not be okay as far as how you see it and how you wanted to see it. And you go ahead and go through that grieving process. At the end of it, we want to help you get to the acceptance part, which all of this is to help you get there. That's the last part of the grieving process, is the acceptance.
Right.
But we encourage you to go through the process, because you felt like your life should be that way, and we want to validate that.
Absolutely. And it went that way for a reason, because there are lessons that you had to learn before you got to where you were supposed to be at.
Yeah.
That, you know, there was things about you that had to change before you can get there, because that version of you couldn't go anyway.
Yeah. Oh.
I know I see it something.
Ooh.
That version couldn't go there no way. So there's a delay for a reason.
Yeah.
And, you know, they always say delayed, not denied. The Bible said delayed, not denied. Let me speak of that real fast. And when that experience I had when that came to me in life, I was trying to get a job at your job, right? Remember the case manager job? You were at that call center. Remember? You introduced me to that. You introduced me to the lady and everything, and I thought I was a shoe-in, honey, because I can listen. I can make a snail eat some salt. So I thought that I was a shoe-in when I came in the door, because I'm like, I come in doing my Kia shit, and they didn't hire me or whatever, but they didn't hire me because they found out we were sisters or some crap. I remember they didn't hire me because we were related. I guess they didn't hire family members, is what it was, because
they lied.
Some crap. But they didn't hire me nevertheless. But I had ended up getting an interview later, is what it was. Like, they didn't even try to interview me at first, right? When I thought I was this shoe-in, and they never even called me. And so then later on, I had got an interview. And that's when I said, delayed, not denied. And I remember I was lining up myself to work at that place, because I was buying the outfits and everything for that place.
Oh.
Because where I worked at, we didn't have to dress like that, but my transition, I knew that I was going to have to change my attire. And so I didn't have a job yet, but I started buying the clothes for that job. I think I've always done that kind of a thing, unconsciously aligns things or did things ahead of time. And you might have done that too, and you didn't even know it. Think about a time ahead of time you was doing something, and then later on it was like, I already had that ready for this.
Yes.
I would say even our diet. Even when we started our diet, I already had that ready. Even in my mind, I wasn't ready. But I had the things ready. I
think that's all a part of purpose. I feel like we prepare for purpose.
Absolutely.
We may not know that that's what we're doing, and we may look at these, you might look at them clothes like, man, like, where am I wearing these to now? I ain't working here. They didn't hire me, you know.
You know what? They weren't supposed to, because that wasn't my assignment. Right?
Yeah.
Where I did get hired was my assignment. Right? And our brother was working there, and I ended up getting hired there. I was on assignment there.
Right.
And so I do understand the signs.
Yeah.
So yes,
But
so I wore them there in training and things like that. Yeah,
but we'll be preparing for something. It's even if we transition into the actual death of loved ones or friends and people that we love. I think that there's a lot of people, I've heard stories about how they were being prepared for their loved one to go on. They may have dreams about it. The loved one spoke to them about it and said, hey, I'm getting ready to go. And then you have those unexpected transitions that you don't prepare for. But I do feel like in some way that we kind of know intuitively. And I think that a lot of the things in life, and I know I'm sure I would get some pushback here, but I think a lot of things in life that we thought would be something, or that we go through the grieving process or the mourning process with, are preparing us for real life or people that we love. You know, when we have to grieve things that we thought could be, would be, and we wanted to be.
Well, you said something. That's because healing begins with acceptance. So once you accept that this is so, you can start to heal. And as it pertains to loss with the death, someone that is sick, that you may know they might transition, right? So it's a possibility there. So you have the time to accept that.
Yes.
So that's the preparation, is accepting. You can accept it, like, okay, I kind of knew they was. So okay, when they did, it wasn't a surprise to me. Now, when someone goes abruptly, you weren't prepared for that. It was never in your head. So you're definitely gonna that's gonna affect you more than it would if you kind of had a little bit of time to process and say, okay, this might happen, and I got to get myself together for that. And that is acceptance. You are accepting that I'm going to lose it. I might lose this person, and I got to come to grips with that.
Listen. And I in no way am minimizing the death. I know. I am in no way minimizing the death of a loved one, a mother, a father,
not at all.
And lumping it in with the things in life as far as the expectations, things that we wanted in life.
Right.
But just to relate the mourning process to things that you thought, or things that you never saw leaving you, or that you never saw losing. Like, you didn't see yourself losing this person, this thing. This place, because there's people who have to mourn the loss of a house. There's people who have to mourn the loss of, I would say even an ability.
Ooh, you are talking now. And especially, you mean like your senses?
Yes.
Your limb?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Your mind.
Yep. Yep.
Any old, we need to get it. Woo, we'd be gone. It won't even be the real 15. It's going to be the real 20, 30, 40.
It's so good.
Ooh. Yes, but that was real good.
Yeah.
An ability.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, when I think about it, like, even, our family members, like, we have a grandma who, cognitively, she just, at the end of her life, she just went down cognitively. She wasn't the person that we knew growing up.
I'm glad you bring that up, but I want to speak on that real quick. Woo! Transparency moment, vulnerability moment, but this the real 15, so I'm going to be real. And I took her death really hard, but it was hard for me to go to up there to see her and everything, but I felt like I lost her way before she died. Right?
Yeah.
And I think I could say that now. She didn't die, but I lost who I knew. I lost that version of her who came to my house. I lost that. So I lost her way before years before the funeral. So we don't talk about that loss with that, right? Excuse me, y'all. But I can't. But yeah, so I'm stuck here, y'all. I'm stuck here in that moment.
And that's hard. thinking about now. I'm getting ready to start crying. Thinking
And this
about,
right here in this moment lets you know, this transparency, vulnerability moment lets you know that I ain't really grieved that. I ain't even really mourned that because I've been felt like she was gone, like as far as the version of her I knew, but like when she was physically gone and when I saw her, that impacted me because I was hyperventilating, but it would have been more impactful. It'd have been different if she was the grandma cat that came and sat on my porch and Kia, ooh, that was the grandma cat. I would have been in the casket flipping I'd have been cutting a food. But it softened the blow, but it still made it more complex and difficult at the same time. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Because again, our expectations, like no matter how real life is, and no matter what experiences we've gone through, like we are not thinking that something is going to leave us or that we're going to lose something or someone. Like nobody's thinking like that.
And knowing the inevitable, right? Knowing at some point we're going to lose everything and everybody, right? And I mean everything and everybody. These houses, all this crap, right? None of all this is temporary. But when it actually does happen, we have to feel those feels. We have to sit in it and go through it. I would tell you, even with my, I had an ectopic pregnancy. I never mourned that. But because I accepted when they told me it was a topic that I wasn't having a baby. So I accepted that moment. So there was, and then I found out that day, there was not like, it was like I was pregnant and I knew, and then I found out that same day that I was pregnant and pretty much that it's not going to be successful. And so I was able to go, and then I was having such physical issues with it too that I wasn't able to mourn or think of that either because it was so physically taxing on me too. But I didn't suffer because I accepted that I wasn't going to have this child. So acceptance is the beginning of healing. Accept it. Whatever this loss is, whatever this thing is that just is not going to be.
So we're going to be wrapping this up, but we want to talk about, or we're going to get to, well, I guess I should say, I want to encourage people in marriages who need to mourn the end or the death of a marriage. And let me say this. I'm not talking about physically leaving either. I'm talking about the expectation of what you thought the marriage would be. You thought your husband would be faithful, and he wasn't.
You thought he'd be a provider,
and he wasn't.
You thought he'd be a protector.
Can't.
Ooh, I want to talk about that, but that's going to be another conversation. I want to talk about how we expect to be protected because I'm not sure that is clearly defined.
No, it's not.
I know.
So we should talk about all those P's: provide, protect, and pursuing. Right? I think there's another P. We'll find it out. We'll do some research. But yeah, we want to encourage married couples, especially women. I want to really encourage women because I think that we are the ones who have the higher expectation about what something is supposed to be. And I want to encourage you that even if it isn't what you thought it would be, that you can make it what you want it to be. So we're going to leave y'all with that. And we are so happy and excited and honored and privileged that y'all share y'all time with us. We're going to keep bringing y'all content. And we want y'all to keep on liking, sharing, and loving.
And loving y'all.
See y'all.
All right, y'all. Bye. Until next time.
Stay tuned.